Alright, YouTube. It's been a bit. So, the car is uber dirty. So, I'm going to do a video on my cleaning process. So, stay tuned on how we get a black car clean. Why not begin the process with a cold start? Alright, so this is just your standard dollar wash off spot. So things we're gonna focus on here is, as you can see, the front, and all the bugs and crap. So then there's dirt down the sides and the tires, so basically what I do is, normally I'd spray this off at home. I didn't feel like getting all the stuff out, so super easy. I'm going to use, where is it at? Boom. So I'm going to spray the whole car down with that. And I'm going to use that guy to scrub it in, depending on how dirty the car is. Car's not horribly dirty. Most of this stuff is surface stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and go through the whole process just like normal. So a couple bucks, and you don't have to worry about water spots or anything like that. It's not really an issue because of what I do afterwards. So a lot of dirt collects on the back here for some reason. So that's a good spot to scrub. But yeah, basically engine tire cleaner, foaming brush, high pressure rinse. High pressure rinse. Okay, sprayed off, sprayed in there, got the back here, like I said, a lot of dust collects up there. Now I just got to jump on the highway on the way home and get her up to 70 and dry it off. Now I forgot I had to make a pit stop at Blaine's, but I literally drove 6 minutes, and you can tell how wet it was when I left the car spray off. There's still a couple of drops right there. You can see a little bit coming from the fuel tank. There's a couple drips back there. The back, this is where it collects. So if that makes sense. Alright, let's run in the Blaine's and then get home and finish this cleaning. Okay, welcome back to the Hisn House. Now let's discuss the process. So As you can see, alright, welcome back. As you can see, everything's pretty much dried. There's spots, but of course, because I keep it clean all the time, it's really hard to tell, but there are some spots. I might have to superimpose it to show it to you, but there are spots on there. So basically, these are the items that I use. You got one dirty towel. I got the Meguiar's Hot Shine tire coating. That goes on first. You got the Turtle Wax Jet Black spray. If you have a black car, this is the most important thing you will ever use. Invisible glass, that's for the windows. That is the last step of this process. But you can use Rain-X, you can use generic, as long as you just don't leave any streaks. Invisible glass here is guaranteed to be streak free, but not a requirement. If you have a black car, jet black is definitely a requirement, and you will see why. Then you got a couple of clean towels. I usually use 2, and then some shop towels. That's for doing the windows. But again, 1 dirty towel. So what I generally do is I'll use a clean towel to do the cleaning, and then that clean towel then becomes the dirty towel for the next round. So here we go. Okay, so first step in the process, Meguiar's Hot Shine tire coating. Now, the reason I do this as the first step is because it does take a while for it to dry, even though it says right here gives tires that deep black wet look. The problem is that if you spray it and then 20 minutes later you take off driving, you end up getting droplets all the way back down the side of the vehicle. So you got to allow for the Meguiar's to have enough time to actually dry. Even though it goes on and it doesn't look like it's loose, it definitely is loose. So real quick, it's just a one and done. And if you want, you can hit the wheel wells too to give those a nice little shine. So boom, 3 more tires. The back's no different, same thing. And don't worry about overspray, because we're going to wipe those down anyway. Okay, step 2, dirty towel. So to get started, your towel's not really saturated. So this is the jet black application. So the towel's not saturated. So basically what I do is I just throw a little spray on the towel so it starts to get wet. By the end, it's not going to be an issue, but right off the bat, you got to get something on there basically. So then you hit the car and you just do a small section. And this is throughout the vehicle. Set this down. So we're going to take this and our saturated side, we're going to go ahead and wipe that in. Like I said, just do a small section. And this is the reason that I said you don't have to worry about water spots, because of this step. You're going to work it in anyway. So right off the bat, it doesn't really film up very well, because like I said, it's not as saturated. So I generally do the first section a couple of times. So that looks good like that. And before I hit it with the clean towel, which you're supposed to hit it with the wet, and then 30 seconds later you're supposed to hit it with the dry, and then it has a nice shine to it. So but again, the first application is not exactly saturated, so the process really doesn't work well because your towel's pretty dry, so it's actually drying it as you go. So that second piece is really not happening. So that's why I do it twice. So again, go on the towel here. Okay. Flip that over. Rub that in. There it is. It's starting to streak up a little bit. So there you go. There are some streaks still left on it. So then skip to 30 seconds later. All right. Then you dry it up. There you go. So now we got about 93% of car left to do. If you do have the black top package, this film, the strip that goes across, that can also be done. So we will go ahead and complete the rest of the vehicle. Don't forget the mirrors. Make sure you saturate the towel. You don't have to spray it directly on there because it gets a little messy otherwise. Saturate the towel. Let that dry 30 seconds. Then wipe it off. It's going good. So I'm about halfway done. Wanted to show you how saturated the towel was. It's starting to get dark, but you can tell it's got a little wetness to it because it just leaves a streak as soon as I wipe that across there. So it's getting there. So this half is done. The right side here. Okay, out of breath. Let me see if I can, there we go. Completely out of breath, but so the wax on, wax off Danielson is complete. What I like to do is, now that the towel is completely saturated, so here's the dirty one I started with. This was brand spanking new when I started, so you can see the difference. It pulls off the black coating here. But what I like to do is just walk around it, look for any water spots. Since that's already saturated, then I can just hit that water spot by itself and then quickly wipe that down. But I already checked for water spots, and I think we are golden. So we're moving on to the next step. Just so you know, all this can be sprayed with the black, since you're wiping it off anyway. Even if the Dodge letters get black on them, no big deal. like I said, you're wiping it down anyway. So yeah, fuel door, if it get hit with the black, it's not a big deal. It's, like I said, you're wiping it down. So that's where we're at. All right, so next step, you see these what you would call ground effects. Basically that line there goes across on both sides. And then obviously this front fin here down below. So those can actually be hit with the Meguiar's tire coating. So just make care to not hit the paint. And the reason I don't do this first is because this one doesn't splash down the sides of the vehicle. So So now, if you take a look at the ground effects, they got that shine to them. Alright, so next step, you take your dirty towel, because you're going to do nothing but throw this thing away, or use it for tires anyway, because that's the only use after it's basically saturated in the black stuff. And since it's saturated, it actually does a nice coating on the wheels. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this towel and I'm going to wipe down each wheel on the inside. So just making sure no water streaks, and you know, there's some overspray that's hit on here, you know, it's got the little gunk on it, whatever. No big deal. And I'm going to reach in there and get that RT, get that nice and cleaned up. I try to avoid hitting the rotor at all, because I don't want to get any grease on there and cause any issues. But the inside is as far as you can reach, you can wipe down. I'm not as meticulous about the inside. You can see back in there how it's dirty back in there. I mean, when you're driving down the road, the only one that's going to know that there's dirt there is you, so let it go. But here we go, cleaning tires or wheels. Okay, that is the after on wheel number 1. So the spray's still a little tacky, so yeah, the saturation of this actually puts a nice little coating on top of the wheel. So if you got black wheels, this is the way to go. Obviously, from more braking in the front, this one is a lot more saturated, so we'll do a before and after. Tell me what you think. Same angle of the dangle. Looking clean. All right, that's 4 wheels for you. Alright, so that's what our towel looks like at the end of this process. And now we move on to windows. I'm guessing I don't have to explain how to do windows to anyone, but I've used this stuff before. It says it's tent safe, and clearly I may have some tent there since you can't even see in the car. Oh wait, there you go, there's the car. So basically shaking it up, spraying it on, spraying it on. Boom, boom, and just gonna take my shop towel, fold it up nicely, and oops, fold it up nicely, and wipe it off. If you see any spots, you can go over it a second time, but for the most part, it's looking good. And then with the wet part of the towel, make sure you hit the mirror. Just get the water spots off. Boom. Moving on, other side, and windshield. Okay, we're all done. So what I like to do when everything's complete is just go around. You know, if you see anything by the windows, since the windows was the last thing you did, just hit that one more time just to make sure there's no overspray. But generally, I get things on the windows, so it's not really an issue. So this is it. Now, as you can see, we got overcast. But if the sun was shining through directly, basically all you see is it shining back at me. So as you can see, that is the process complete. Like, subscribe, comment. Ooh, hey, there's the sun. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Sea Dog out.